today is an act of desperation on the part of this government. It is another act designed to drive fear in the hearts of Ghanaians. I spoke at Abuja about this government's numerous attempts to intimidate this society with a mistaken belief, I think, guided by a mistaken belief that they would make the citizens more compliant and have people be fearful of criticizing them and exposing their wrongdoing. Now, we have seen, just witnessed the arrest of Dr. Roger Luncheon, ostensibly because he got a house lot in one of the housing schemes in this country. This special organized crime unit was set up under the police force for the purpose of supporting the FIU, because APNU claimed that our entire economy was based on drug money. Today, one of their henchmen, Eric Phillips, spoke about billions of dollars lost, billions of US dollars lost through the smuggling of gold, 15,000 ounces of gold per week. That's close to $1 billion US a year. Yet we have not witnessed, in 2 years of this government, a single action taken by SOCU against any drug dealer, against any money launderer, against any person who smuggled all of these billions of dollars of gold. But we have seen today the arrest of Dr. Roger Luncheon by SOCU because the government believes that he got a house lot at Pradoville fraudulently. And it speaks clearly. We don't need any more evidence because it's staring us in the face. Several people were asked to go to SOCU, and you saw the response that was made public by the lawyers. The lawyers wrote them, particularly in this case, Anil Nandala wrote, saying that although we think it's a witch hunt, we want to be cooperative, and that the members of parliament and others will make themselves available today here at the leader of the opposition office to answer any questions that SOCU may wish to ask them about. Clearly, the directions, they have refused that course, so there was no refusal to cooperate, but the venue was here rather than at SOCU. We have seen this police force, because SOCU is an arm of the police force. They've gone to people's homes to take statements in criminal matters, serious criminal matters. But they're refusing in this instance, and I think SOCU has been directed by the Office of the President and Ramjatan to take this course of action, to arrest several people in the PPP, hoping that they will break our will to fight them, tame the reputations of these people, and then send a message to Ghana that if you can arrest Dr. Roger Luncheon, then who else is safe in this country? Who else would be safe? And so this is all a political witch hunt. It's as clear as day. And the reason the government is doing this, it's because it's failing miserably in every single area across the country. It is facing the wrath of many ordinary people, PPP supporters as well as APNU supporters, because it has not delivered on any of its promises. It can't lead this country to a prosperous future. In fact, it's the people's welfare are declining. More and more people are protesting its action. You have people protesting its education policy, now with the parking meter, the sugar workers. The country is in disarray now, economic disarray, and we have seen a steady, an insidious move to erode our constitutional rights. This act, the arrest of Dr. Roger Luncheon here today, is an act that would long be remembered in this country, long be remembered as one of the greatest injustices that we have seen in this country. And we will remember it. We will remember it. So we today, as I said before, the drug dealers getting a clear pass from SOCU, the so-called the gold smugglers, etc., are also getting a clear pass, but they're coming after some politicians. And I suspect the list of politicians would be long, not just on this matter, but on other matters. The country needs to understand, when you see those images today, you should recognize that this has nothing to do with corruption, Roger Luncheon. It's about trying to break the will of those who are resisting them, trying to break our will, but they will not do so. And the misuse of the police force and SOCU is one that will be examined in the future, because I believe people will be privately liable for the misuse of their office in the future. So that's all that I wanted to say on this matter, because you are invited here to witness it yourself.
Dr. Jagdeo, could you tell us why you feel any special privileges should be afforded to you and members of your party in having SOCU come here to you when it is the directive or is the policy and procedures of the police force that persons go to the stations wherever for questioning?
I made it clear that the police force, there is nothing which says that you have to, the advice that you have to go there to give statements. The statements could be taken anywhere. And in light of the fact that we see this as a charade, a witch hunt, that is why we wanted to make sure that it's done in an area where if the people can see attempts to prosecute or to prosecute a witch hunt against our members. So it could be done in the open. We don't want it to be done in the confines of a closed place. We want all the questions that are asked be made to the public. We said, the lawyers wrote and said, why don't you give us an entire list of all the questions that you wish, which is our right to do so. If you're inviting us, when the invitation came, we were not told that there was an offense at that time. People are not told, they were invited in for an interview at SOCU. You need to be specific. If you're inviting people in for an interview, then what is the interview about? What would you like to find out from it? Those are constitutional rights. We're not going to be allowed ourselves to be bullied, but we made ourselves available to cooperate. That is why we said you can ask all the questions you want, but not in an environment where you're pursuing a witch hunt.
Mr. Jagdeo, the fact that you opted to have you and your party officials here to facilitate an interview by SOCU, and now the subsequent arrest of Dr. Luncheon, was it part of your calculation that politically it is more strategic to be here even to facilitate an arrest? Was it part of your political strategy?
No, because they had the option of not arresting. They had an option of not arresting, but sending the list of questions soliciting a statement, even coming by people's maybe but here to do the interview today. And then that would have avoided this situation had they done the interview here today and asked all the questions that they wanted to. Because then a statement would have been made. I could not predict how they will act. But obviously we never predicted this because they got political directions. Even many of the policemen are apologetic. They're apologetic. Many call privately to say, it's not us. We've been forced to take action, to go after the politicians. We've been forced by the Office of the President and the Ministry of Public Security to take action. We're very uncomfortable with doing these things, but we have to do them, or else we'll get into trouble. They are policemen, a lot of policemen are communicating this privately because they're worried about what is taking place, that they've seen the entire police force, in fact that organized crime unit, seem to be focused only on political objectives now rather than going after the money launderer and the drug traffickers and the gold smugglers and others.
Sir, are you aware of any other arrests? We understand that Mr. Ramatar's daughter may have been arrested.
Well, in fact, she went in. She went in, and from what I gather, she was arrested when she went in there. So this does not preclude, the action that happened here now did not preclude you being arrested, and the charges that they laid. They have not charged anyone with anything because they can make up any charge just to embarrass people. Charge you, whether it stands up in court or not is another matter. So you use this as a pretext to charge, if the purpose is to embarrass and to send a message to the country. And this is what they're doing. Okay.
Politically, how you have to handle this?
Well, we don't need to handle it politically. The country is seeing this, Dennis. The country will witness this. And if they think they can fool people about their motives, already many people are saying, why go after people for this thing, like a luncheon in this case, for a house lot, because he got a house lot, when there are so many other things to fix. And in any case, Roger Luncheon never got a house lot in his entire 20-something years in government. So what's so egregious about him getting a house lot of the 115,000 house lots that were given out to private individuals? What's so wrong with that? But that's what they found as the first target of SOCU. That's the first target. So the public will judge them. Thank you very much.